Hello Cruising World, Mick the Suit Guy with you today. Quick intro because we're going to get to it. We recently went on a cruise in Australia. Well, I say recently, it was a few months ago, but I've been very lazy getting these videos out. So we went to Sydney and we went in like 4 days before the cruise. So I figured it might be a decent idea or a fun idea, whatever idea it may be, I don't know, to show you some of the things we did in Sydney before the actual cruise itself. So I put something together. We basically went in for, I think it was 4 nights, maybe 3, whatever nights it was. We got one of those Go City passes where you buy X number of activities for a certain price. So the more activities you get, the more expensive it is. And we ended up getting 4, which I'll cover with you right now. So we thought it was pretty good value. We stayed in an area called Miller's Point. We had an Airbnb, and I'm about to show you in the video. I'm not going to promote it because it was terrible, but the area was brilliant, and the rocks area where the cruise went from, the cruise port and everything. So it's a really cool area. If you do go to Sydney for a cruise, I would recommend staying in like the rocks or Miller's Point or somewhere around Darling Harbour, right in that area, because it's all within walking distance. And there's a really good train service, local little trolley tram things you can drive around. They run all the time. And yeah, lots of restaurants and everything, really, really good to do. There's also some really good hotels right by the port that, at least when we went, were reasonably priced. We stayed in one called the Hotel Rendezvous, and it was literally 2 blocks from the port. So that was great. I mean, it was an okay hotel. It wasn't anything spectacular, but you're not in the hotel. When you're visiting a place like Sydney, you are out and about. And the time we were there was not enough. It's a really fun city. There was so much we could have gone to do. We didn't get a chance to. I could go back there again very easily and find a lot of new things to do. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. Here's what we did before our cruise in Sydney, Australia, which, by the way, is full of English criminals. Wow. I thought it was 100%, but it's not. No, it's a certain percentage, but we'll leave that alone. So to my Aussie friends, you're not all criminally descended from us. All right, I'm going to take you on a little tour around Sydney. This is the main tourist area that you'll probably spend most of your time in. This is what we did for the 3 or 4 days we were in town or in the city before we went on a cruise. So this is, like I said, the main touristy area. Where the peach area is in the middle, that's the area they call the Rocks. Just to the right of that, towards the side, you'll see the Sydney Opera House. And the blue area in between, that's a little bay where the ferries go in and out of. And right in the middle there where it says the Rocks Discovery Museum on the water is where the overseas passenger terminal is. This is where most of the ships go from, the larger ships, because there's another cruise port called the White Bay Terminal on the opposite side of this picture to the left. But you have to be a smaller ship to go from that terminal because you have to go under the bridge, which is, if you follow that thick yellow line in the middle, that would lead you to the bridge that goes over the bay. On the left-hand side, you'll see an area called Miller's Point in the green. That is where we actually stayed in an Airbnb. Normally, I would recommend it, but I didn't really enjoy it, so I'm not going to recommend it. There's some great hotels in the Rocks. We stayed in one called the Rendezvous, which is 2 blocks from the port, which was awesome. Also in the bottom left-hand corner, we'll show you some more of that in a moment, is an area called Darling Harbour, and they have Chinatown down there, Paddy's Market, where they do the dinner cruises and everything. So it's really good. So it's a really nice area to stay in. And again, you'll probably spend most of your time here apart from going out. We did the Go City Pass. We found this the most convenient because we wanted to see a lot of attractions. We chose the 4-person pass. We did the dinner cruise. We did a true crime tour. We went to Featherdale Wildlife Park, and we did the big bus tour around to see all the main sites on one day, which is perfect for us. But they have like 35 or so different ones you can choose from. The 4-pass one ended up being in US dollars, that's Australian, about $130 a person. So the first thing we did was the Sunset Views and Twilight Hues cruise with a 3-course set menu. Food was surprisingly good, and as you'll see in the top right, it said 91 Australian dollars. So it would have cost more if we hadn't done the Go City Pass. This is the area I was talking about, which is off to the side of the main one I just had. This is Darling Harbour. If you went to the very far side, you will see Paddy's Market, and in the top there you'll see Chinatown. They got the Chinese gardens. There's a aquarium here. There's all sorts of museums, loads of good bars and restaurants, and between this and the Rocks, are all within walking distance of each other. Loads and loads of things to do. So we went on the night cruise out of Darling Harbour. Well, I say night cruise, the sunset cruise. This doesn't look like a sunset because the sun hadn't set just yet. But there's the Eye, the Sydney Eye. You can go up there as one of the attractions on the Go City Pass if you wanted to get the nice overview. We did this in Auckland, so we chose not to do it here because the cruise we went on went to New Zealand, and we came back and went to the Great Barrier Reef. So this was leaving the harbour. You see it's nicely built up. It's a really nice, there's some great restaurants down there. And again, the same with the rocks. And it's all pretty much within walking distance. I wouldn't say it's like a 5-minute walk, but good, you know, if you're okay with walking a little bit of distance, you can do it. You can do trains as well. There are really good train service, like a local little tram train type of thing that you can go between all these areas. There's the Sydney Opera House. So basically those buildings and the tall buildings in the background there, to the right of there is where we left from. We came out, we went under the bridge, which I'll show you in a second. And then we went past the Sydney Opera House, did a loop and came back. So it was probably an hour and a half to 2 hours in total, maybe a little bit more than that. The food was much better than I expected. And the sights, you can't beat these, can you? So at the end of this video, I'll show you a quick time lapse when the ship actually left. But there you see the bridge coming into view. So, and the downtown area down there. So we went under the bridge and back around. There's actually two terminals. There's the overseas terminal, like I said, there's the White Bay. The White Bay would have to go under this bridge, which is why most of the ships go from the overseas terminal. You can see the opera house there. Now that bridge, you can do a bridge climb. Julie did it. I'll show you some pictures in a second. I will hastenly say I did not. I have terrible fear of heights. So my vertigo is not good. Don't do it if you have vertigo. It may not look that high there, but trust me, it's high. And here's a couple of pictures of Julie. She did it between. We did a back-to-back. So that picture, we were waiting to get back on. So you saw the ship. And you can just get a gauge of how high up she really is in these pictures. Oh, yeah. It makes me nervous. But anyway, she did that in between. So back to the dinner cruise. Ooh. And this is on the way back in. You see the sun is starting to set. And down there where the sun was setting is where the White Bay Terminal is. That is where we just came from. You can see the bridge in the distance. And we're heading back into Darling Harbour for the end of our cruise. Now, if you kept walking, like I said, there's Paddy's Market, not too far. Do all your tourist purchases there. It's so much cheaper. A couple of really nice buildings you can go around and see. This was the Chinatown. We actually did a food tour here on the when we got back from the cruise. That was very fun. We also went to the Featherdale Sydney Wildlife Park. Now, this is a bit of a hike to get to, as you can see. You got to know where you're going, but it's easy to look up. We got an Opal card. I'll put a link in the comments on what that means and how you get them. That's a rough idea of how we got there. We got a train from downtown to a place called Blacktown where we got off, and we got a bus the rest of the way. This was getting on the train. Again, we got an Opal card. I think it was like $20 you had to pay, but you'll get your money's worth if you do a little bit of travel while you're there. You can buy them in all the little grocery stores around there. But again, I'll put a link up to show you how you get them and what they do and all that stuff in the comments. So these were the trains, and they came very quickly. You'll see how empty it was this particular morning. And we weren't leaving early or late. We were kind of almost in rush hour-ish. Now, these chairs are amazing. You can just slide them back. You've gone from the front to back. It's crazy, isn't it? So you can go from this, and just by sliding them one way or the other, you go to this. So if you don't want to sit staring at somebody, you just move it and put your back to them. Anyway, here we are at Blacktown where we got off the train, and this is the bus station for the second leg to the wildlife park. We chose to go on a public holiday, which is a very bad choice. We went on Easter weekend, so it'll be a lot busier than this normally if you don't go on a public holiday. About a 15-minute bus ride to the actual park itself. And then we had an all-inclusive ticket, so it covered that as well. And now this is the Featherdale Wildlife Park. We also did some animal encounters. You can add those on the website. The Go City Pass just gave us entrance to walk around, but the encounters, as you'll see, there's only a couple of people can do them a day. So you go in, you got all sorts of things to see. There's these koalas who are surprisingly active. I don't think I've ever seen koalas this active, but I've only really seen them at San Diego Zoo, and 23 hours a day they said they sleep, but not here. Everything seemed to be quite active, and you can get pictures with these for a fee, of course, but a great opportunity to get that picture. You can hold them a little bit. All sorts of animals here. Yeah, looking at me kind of weird. And you can feed the kangaroos. Now be aware, these cups of food, they look like there's not much, but it takes these kangaroos forever to eat them. Boy, do they eat slowly. So one would be enough, would be my advice. I can pretty much promise you. So yeah, so there's Julie. Look how full that cup is. A long, long way to go. And I took this video. I think this is me actually, but it's pretty cool because see the way they're holding on, so they can get their nose into the cup. So they're very domesticated, very used to doing this. So yeah, there's a kangaroo eating again. But again, I can't stress this enough. One cup is all you need. But that's not all you can do there. But I will show you one more quick picture of Julie because about 80% of my videos are Julie feeding kangaroos. Hey. But like I said, we did the animal encounters. This is not one of the encounters though. And again, like I said with the koalas, it's amazing to me how active the animals were. Normally when you see a snake in an enclosure, it is sitting there doing absolutely nothing. But this was not the only one that we saw moving around its enclosure. And this is a very long snake. So I apologize if you are have a fear of snakes and you're watching this. It was harmless, although a lot of snakes in Australia are not. It was harmless because it was behind glass. I have no idea if it was poisonous or not. But so they had snakes. Now, like I said about the encounters, we did a penguin encounter where you could feed the penguins. Watch out for those other birds trying to steal all the food. We both had a go at this. Now, again, you have to book this in advance. Only one couple or one appointment a day can do this. So if you want to do it, make sure it's available on the day you want to go and make sure you pay for it up front. Don't expect to get there and do it. We also were supposed to do a wombat encounter, but the wombat was not feeling so great that day. So we ended up doing a quokka encounter, which was amazing, although I could not get video, but I'll show you a really, really cool picture in a while. So we got to feed them and then we got to walk around the enclosure a little bit and we got to see them, as you can see here, all coming up to us. All the lovely little penguins. Yep, so you can do things other than just walk around, but there are add-ons. So go to the website and see what add-ons they have and see if you'd be interested in any of them. They were not overly expensive. Oh, look, it's a picture of Julie feeding kangaroos. Last one, I promise. There's the Featherdale Wildlife Park sign. But I do have a picture of my friend Tim feeding the kangaroo, so that's just leaving Julie out. She'll probably get sad. And me feeding the penguins again. Cool little animals, great picture opportunities. And then this was the quokka. Isn't it cute? The quokka. Oh my goodness, what a great picture that was. How lucky did we get? But I didn't get any video, like I said. So we did the wildlife park. And then we did the Sydney true crime tour that night. Now, I didn't get any video because A, it was dark and it felt a bit weird because the guide was trying to explain about all the crimes that had happened in the rocks area. So it was down in the rocks where we showed you the map earlier. There's about maybe 20, 25 people there, but it was great. You could easily hear the guides. It was very, very good, very knowledgeable, and it was a lot of fun. So on the cheaper side, so we really didn't get the value on this one like we did on the food, but we're still really glad we did this one. It was a lot of fun, but sadly no pictures. But trust me, it's a tour. It took about 2.5 hours, and they took you around and explained where 5 or 6 of the crimes, most famous crimes in Sydney, had ever happened. So I can recommend it. I really, really did enjoy it. A lot of fun, and we made some new friends on the night, so that was always fun. Now, the next day, we did not do this on the Go City, but we went to the Blue Mountains. We did a private tour with Project Expedition. And again, I will put the link to this in the comments. It was a good old drive. It was about 80 miles to get there, but look at the views you get once you get there. So this was like a 10-hour tour because we not only went to see all these, and we did 4 or 5 stops to get different videos of the Blue Mountains, as you will see, but we also went to visit some towns and did some other various stops on the way that were a lot of fun. But I really just wanted to concentrate here. You can see why they called it the Blue Mountains, because you get the blue tint on the sun coming down in the distance if you look carefully enough. But it was view after view after view like this. And then eventually we stopped and we got out and walked for quite a while. They had a little cable car that went across if you wanted to get in that. Not for me with my vertigo, but for the braver people out there, you could do that. We were all the way in the distance. We drove all the way down, and our guide took us like to 4 or 5 different stops, which was awesome. That is what they call the Three Sisters right there on the left. So just some amazing views on the day. Well worth going if you ask me. And this is when we went for the walk. There's Tim again. Just show you a few of the different pictures, and there's that cable car. Just a few of the different shots that we got on the day. And there's our guide. Now, the last one we did was the Big Bus Sydney. So there's two different routes you can really do. There's the red route, which is there, that shows all the main sites in the downtown area, you know, from your opera house to the bridge and all that stuff. And then they have the blue route, which really is for Bondi Beach. So that's really the only reason you go on the blue one. We did both. We had time. So this is where we picked it up. There's stops all over. This was right down by the cruise port where we got on. So that, looking back there, is where the ship would be in a couple of days. Actually, the next day, because we did this the day before the cruise. And it's a hop on, hop off, as you might know. Very good value, we thought, and a good way to see some of the sites. This is one of the cathedrals we saw. That was actually a Sunday, so they were going in for church. That's why it looks so busy. It's not just all tourists there. And then I'll show you just a little bit of driving around. The best views were when you got off, of course. But, you know, just driving around a town and just seeing the buildings. It reminded me, it was very, very English in many ways. And also some beach towns even in America. So, you know, you're not really going to get, like if you went Thailand, you're not going to get that view of everything. So I thought I'd just show you that. And then this is Bondi Beach. We'll do a quick pan around of there. Look at that sand. That's some good food places around here. So we got to see a lot in the day that we were there. A couple more pictures we'll show you now. There's us on Bondi Beach. We went to a little market. We got some cool stuff there. Of course, Tim with his usual pose. And now you can kick this wall. It's famous. You're supposed to do this. And then us, just a couple of random little pictures, like I said, out for dinner. And this is one of the seafood places on Bondi Beach. I just thought that the selection was so amazing, I would have to show you some pictures. So there you go. That was all sushi and fresh fish. These were the bin birds, as I like to call them, everywhere you went. Now that is the White Bay. You can see the ship in the distance. And then I'll end you with a little video here of the overseas passenger terminal. This is where you would get most of the cruises from. Now, like I said, this is where the Carnival ones, the larger ships go. I have a full video of this out on my channel, so just look for Sydney Cruise Port, and I'll put a link to that in the comments as well. But a much more in-depth video for you that I will show there. And then lastly, I'm going to show you a quick time lapse of when we actually left the port. Very easy port to navigate and go in and out of, and you're really not going to beat the sail away. This is it. So you got the Sydney Harbour House, the Sydney Opera House, and the bridge, and obviously this is sped up, and away we go. How cool is that? So don't miss the sail away if you go out of Sydney, would be my comment. And I'm so nice, I'm going to show it to you twice. So this is going further out. Just thought I'd double up as a little treat and go a bit further than the first one. All right, a quick add-on. I found some pictures of the food tour that we did when we got back from the cruise in downtown Chinatown in Sydney. So I'll put the link to this in the comments, but it was a really good food tour. There was maybe 10 of us on the tour, plenty of food, plenty of restaurants. It was actually really, really good, much better than I had expected it to be. So I can only recommend this. But again, I'll put the link to this tour. It was through a company called Project Expedition, who we love to use. We went to a tea place, as you see, really cool desserts. So yeah, I'll put a link to this in the comments. Just a quick bonus for you because I just found these pictures. All right, so there you go. That was a look at Sydney before and a little bit post-cruise as well. The trip from the airport to the downtown area where we were was really easy as well. We got a car service, but we should have just probably got a taxi. There was plenty of people there waiting. Just all in all, a very smooth experience, and loved Australia. People were very friendly. It's great. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm going to put links in the comments for all of the little excursions we did. So if any of you are interested, I can recommend them all. Yeah, that's about it, really. With that, if you want to subscribe, I got loads more of these videos coming out. We did a whole big trip on this one. We went on celebrity solstice before from Hong Kong to Singapore. So I've got a lot of those videos coming out. Some are already out. And then on this one, we went to New Zealand and back, and then we went to the Great Barrier Reef and back. So in total, we were cruising for like 32 days. So we got lots of ports in, and I've got a video of every port coming out eventually. And we got loads of others as well. So we're just getting ready to go off on the Panorama for 25 days from Singapore back to Long Beach. So we're going to the Philippines, Malaysia. So I'll get some new videos from there as well. And if you have any questions, please send them to me. My email is coming up at the end of this video. You can send me any questions you want. And we're going to start cutting back on it soon. But I do a tips video. Right now it's every Monday. Soon we're going to probably go to monthly, because it's just a lot of work. But if you want to send me your tips, please do so. I will read them out and share them with the cruising world. Although I do not read them in advance. You have been warned. I react as I go. But with that, oh yeah, subscribe. Hit the little bell if you want to get notifications. I'll see you later, cruising world. Any questions? Email me anytime. cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. I promise I'll reply as soon as possible. Want to book a cruise or any type of travel? We are travel agents. Check out our site, elitetravelconnection.com, or email me, mick@elitetravelconnection.com. We are here for you. Finally, subscribe, please. Pretty please. You know you want to. Go on. I won't beg you. Okay, I'm begging. Please. Subscribe. Thank you.